They're writing, like, let's say, allegedly 100 years later, but the manuscripts we have are actually way later after that, like 9th century. But this is what they have. People who weren't there, not eyewitness accounts. Nobody saw this with their own eyes. Random historians who heard something 100 years later or something, and they wrote it down. Okay, this is what they have. Then he adds the Bible. But the Bible is a document, is earliest manuscript you have of it is 400 years later, the Codex Sinaiticus. And you're trying to bring this as a document, as evidence, written by unknown sources, a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy of who, we don't know who. How is that evidence that Jesus was crucified? Then on top of all of that, the Bible that you're quoting and trying to tell us that this is a fact or whatever, it even, I believe, this Bible is used to disprove that what you're calling is a fact, that Jesus was crucified. All you need to do is just to look at the Bible and its account of Jesus' crucifixion and what it says about Jesus in general. For instance, in Matthew, Jesus talks to the Jews, and then they ask him to give them a sign. So he says to them, you're not going to get any sign except the sign of Jonah. For just like Jonah was in the belly of the earth for 3 nights and 3 days, he will also be in the belly of the earth for 3 nights and 3 days. So he says, I'm going to give you the same sign of Jonah. And they use this verse and say, look, this is the evidence here why the Bible is proof that the basically crucifixion and resurrection happened. So they use this verse. We look at this verse and we say something very simple. What was the sign of Jonah? He says, I'm going to give you the sign of Jonah. What was the sign of Jonah? The sign of Jonah, that he was alive in the belly of the whale. So if Jesus is saying he's going to give you the same sign of Jonah, and he's going to be for 3 days and 3 nights, then he should be alive for 3 days and 3 nights, because all human beings are dead in the grave. So it's not a sign to be dead in the grave for 3 days and 3 nights. That's not a sign. The sign of Jonah was that he survived in the belly of the whale. So we say, hey, the Bible is refuting your idea of the crucifixion. It shows that he was alive. Then on top of that, you look at the account of the crucifixion itself. He says 3 days and 3 nights. And Jesus, if you look at John chapter 19, and you go from 31 onwards, you'll see that it talks about Jesus being crucified on Friday afternoon, evening. You can say afternoon/evening, because they say they took his body in the nighttime before the Sabbath. So he was crucified on a Friday afternoon or evening. Okay. Then when is he resurrected? You go to the same John, chapter 20, verse 1, and it tells you that it's early at dawn, before the sun rise. Early at dawn, before sunrise. And he said he will be there 3 days and 3 nights. What is 3 days and 3 nights? It's the day of Friday and the night of Friday, the day of Saturday and the night of Saturday, the day of Sunday and the night of Sunday. And that was not the case. Like we said, Friday evening or whatever, and Saturday before dawn, when it was dark, or at dawn time. How's this 3 days and 3 nights? So, and some Christians try to play a game and say, oh, day is actually means a period of time in Hebrew or whatever. It says day and night, so it can only refer to the 24 hours that we refer to. So this game doesn't work. So you see a problem in the account of the crucifixion. On top of all of that, I'm going to add you the last thing, because I can go on and on. Use the Bible and show you through the Bible that your account of the crucifixion is a bunch of nonsense. In Matthew chapter 4, Psalms 91 is quoted about Jesus, how God is going to protect Jesus with angels and stuff. Is quoting this prophecy or this psalm, let's say, about Jesus in the Old Testament. Now, when we read this psalm, what does this psalm say? This psalm says if he calls upon God, God will surely answer him. Did Jesus call upon God to save him from the crucifixion? Yes, he did. He said, take this cup away from me. So he called upon God to save him from the crucifixion. Muslims believe that God saved him from that. He wasn't crucified or killed. So exactly according to that account, it says that God will send angels to protect him. He will not even be bruised. He will not be bruised. He will not be harmed. All the chapter is about protection and how God will send angels and answer his prayers and all of that. And we believe that he was raised up. So these angels came, they raised Jesus up. This Islamic narrative is affirmed and confirmed with your own Bible. So those historians don't benefit you, like I said, nor does the Bible benefit you. Nor, like I said from the beginning, does the Quran even say that people didn't believe it, so it will be an issue that historians wrote it. We have no issues that historian wrote this.
Secondly, in verse 5:116, the author of the Quran mistakes the Christian Trinity to be Jesus, God, and Mary, which wasn't a belief held by any Orthodox Christians, not even the Coloridians. This shows that the author of the Quran, supposedly Allah, didn't even understand the Christianity it was trying to refute.
Now, this guy is like he's like lying with, again, confidence. Like I say, Christians just come on camera, they start the camera, and they just lie, and then expect people to believe what they say. Like it's comical because, like I said, I was just quoting Charlie Kirk and whatever about lying, and he's a Christian also. They are the masters of lying, and then they come and say Muslims are the ones who lie. It's insane. You read the verse in the Quran. It's a specific verse about the day of judgment. Allah is questioning Jesus on the day of judgment, asking him, أَأَنْتَ قُلْتَ لِلنَّاسِ اتَّخِذُونِي وَأُمِّيَ إِلَهَيْنِ مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ. The verse says, وَإِذْ قَالَ اللَّهُ يَا عِيسَى ابْنَ مَرْيَمَ. When Allah said, O Jesus, son of Mary, on the day of judgment, essentially this is happening, أَأَنْتَ قُلْتَ لِلنَّاسِ. Did you say to the people to take you and your mother as gods? Then Jesus says, glory be to you, I did not say any of that. If I said anything, you would know it. You know what's in my heart, basically, and I do not know what's in your heart, or for lack of a better term, that you are the knower of the unseen. That's it. That's the verse. Where's the Trinity? Where is any talk about the Trinity? Where is this verse in any way, shape, or form trying to say Trinity? When this verse only mentioned two people, how can this verse possibly be referring to the Trinity when it says, did you say to the people to take you and your mother? That's it, two people. How is this verse talking about the Trinity? You guys have no shame, just lying 24/7, lying. Then people just watching it and thinking what you're saying is true. Even you put the verse on the screen. Where is the Trinity there? Where is three people there? And the Quran in other places says explicitly, do not say three. So the Quran is explicit in other places where it mentions the Trinity. It says do not say three, and do not say the third person of three. All of these references in the Quran to the Trinity, which explicitly mentions the Trinity, none of it talks about Mary, Allah, and Jesus or something. So why do you have to lie? This verse has nothing to do with the Trinity. It's a simple questioning. And we know very well, and this is just a fact, that you have the Roman Catholics and many Catholics praying to Mary, and they worship Mary, literally worship Mary. So this verse is talking about people who are worshiping Mary until this day, actually. People who are worshiping Mary and people who are worshiping Jesus. So it's refuting a complete different idea in this case. And anyone who prays to Mary, in our belief, is worshiping Mary. If you pray to the dead, you worship them. This is what worship is. The Prophet said, prayer is worship.